Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. We are here to talk about Pakistan versus Hong Kong. As you know, I just had to rush back because Hong Kong had other plans. They wanted to go back to Hong Kong pretty early. I think their flight was scheduled, so they had to take an early flight. So they got out for 38. It was as bad a performance as I've seen in a long time. It was like one of those games where an associate nation was playing against a top tier team. I was not pretty surprised with that as well. I've Jen and Sandeepani with me. Jaren, your initial thoughts on this game because it just got over all of a sudden, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've been speaking a lot about how Sandipani's predictions have been going a little against him. But I think yesterday he called it perfectly. He's gotten almost everything right, inch perfect. It's as if he had a time machine and he watched the match and then predicted it yesterday. But the fact that we spoke about how Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan and Naseem Shah, they have the quality that Hong Kong batsmen might struggle against, and that's what happened. Also, I
Hmm.
think the fact that the Hong Kong batsmen, I think the Pakistani players came, did their homework and they came. They were pretty prepared. But overall, if I look at it, this is something that really disappointed me is the fact that Pakistan did not give their younger players chance.
Yeah.
We spoke about it yesterday. Also, this is something that I am really upset with when it comes to Pakistan management because this is not the way. You need to make sure that your generational talents, are able to get that experience earlier because if you go ahead with this, I think this is one of the reasons why you probably saw players cramping up, right? I
Hmm.
mean, you might end up overballing such players, and we spoke about how Shaheen Afridi was someone who faced this issue. You might even see these younger ballers, new ballers also face a similar issue.
Hmm. Yeah. Truly, this is something which we have been talking about, Pakistan cricket and how they've not given main bowlers the rest. But today we have to talk about Hong Kong team at large. Hong Kong team. Sandeepani, did it take you by surprise at all? Because 38 runs is such a low total, right? Not even 50. I expect them to at least give a fight because they did give India a run for the money. So I expected them to show a certain bit of quality today, but then they just did not. They just did not turn up to their game at all. What do you reckon about this, Sandeepani? Because from here on, Hong Kong team is definitely going to build, but at the same time, such a loss can also mean that it can also demoralize them. I know they're out of the tournament at this very point. I just want you to talk about Hong Kong before we get into Pakistan in deep.
Yeah, I think it's one of those days that Hong Kong would really like to forget, and we have seen these sort of matches. I mean, there was always a difference in quality, and since Pakistan decided to play it extremely safe, they went with the best bowler, the best playing combination. They did not tinker too much with their lineup, and they took it very professionally. I think it was a very professional display from Pakistan, and that should not dishearten Hong Kong. I mean, they really pushed India in the last game. It was a bad day for them, and you realized chasing 193 would have definitely hurt their morals, especially again having another day where they bowled really well for the first 10 overs. I was a bit disappointed with the approach that Fakar Zaman and Mohammad Rizwan were showing. It was sort of like the same thing that India did. They took the game deep, kept wickets in hand, and later capitalized. But as I have
Yeah.
said, this approach will only work against weaker opponents. I don't
Yeah.
think if India is playing Pakistan, then they can score at this pace in the last 10 overs, even if they have so many wickets, because the quality of the
Hmm.
bowlers will be different. We
Yeah.
saw tonight as well in the last 4 overs. Hong Kong really crumbled under pressure. I mean, the bowlers, they really did not uh, have the experience or the sort of the yeah, just the experience to bowl in this sort of conditions and to such world class batsmen. And I think it was a very good day for Khushdil Shah. I think we have been talking a lot about him. He had a very poor outing against India, which
Hmm.
truly does not justify his talent. Today's performance does. And I think he is one of the cleanest hitters in the Pakistan team right now. And
Yeah.
then the last four sixes of the last four balls were really brilliant. But talking about Hong Kong, I think once they lost 3 or 4 wickets, I think once the spinners started to sort of have their grip on the game.
Hmm.
I predicted that the spinners will definitely be very effective against the Hong Kong spinners. I was very skeptical about the middle order facing the spinners. Again, a bit disappointed that Kinchit Shah did not come at number 3. I think that should be the approach for Hong Kong going ahead. in future tournaments. I think Babar
Yeah.
Hayat is a player. They don't need Babar Hayat, Nizakat Khan, and Yasim Murtaza as their top three. They can have either two of these three in that top order batting position, and then they need somebody who can sort of stabilize the innings. Lack of experience and obviously the scoreboard pressure really did it for them, I think. And they just lost hope at one point, and they were just playing for the sake of it. And we always like Shadab Khan. I had said that he has a brilliant record playing in UAE, in T20 nationals, T20 internationals in UAE, and he has been in super form leading up to this Asia Cup, and he has been performing wherever he's going for his franchise, for the country. So I think he had a clinical outing. Also, credit goes to Mohammad Nawaz coming back from that six hit by
Yeah.
Hardik Pandya. I mean that it was not really his fault that Pakistan lost the game against India, but because he especially did
No,
not have anything to
definitely not.
defend in the
I
last
mean, even
over.
in that over, he just pulled the game pretty deep as well.
Yeah, yeah,
It could
yeah.
have
But
gone either
but
way.
it
One
definitely
more thought
hurts
about
your
that.
psyche, right? You had 6 runs to defend of the last three
Mm.
balls, but you ended up on the losing side.
Mm.
And it was a huge game, India Pakistan game. So things would have gone could have gone either ways. I would have still been happy if Usman Qadir would have got a game. Uh,
Mm.
Nonetheless, I think this Pakistan are playing it very safe, very smart. I think it is a good
I
approach,
mean, it's their
especially
template
because
of game. I mean, we can't really
yeah,
blame
yeah.
Pakistan also. Every
Yeah,
team has
yeah, I
got their
think it
own
was a
template, as you
typical
mentioned yesterday.
Pakistan win where the top order Mohammad Rizwan played throughout the innings.
Yeah.
Babar Azam failed, but we have seen once that one of the top two fails, the other one goes on to score big.
Yeah.
That is why this pair is so uh,
Effective.
yeah, so effective wherever they go. And I think Fakar Zaman, it's good for him to get some runs under his belt,
Mm.
and definitely Khuzdil Shah.
Absolutely. Salim bhai, I think we will give you the tips. Maybe tomorrow is a day, where we're going to bring some exciting tips. Today we are going to be giving you tips about Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. That's a game which we have on our hands. So watch the whole live towards the end. We are going to be giving a fantasy prediction. Boom 11, Fantasy 11 for tomorrow's contest. We're going to be selecting the captain and vice captain as well. Me, Sandeep and Jen are going to pick our team. So stay tuned for that. There's some exciting things awaiting you people. We're also going to be predicting the predicted 11 for tomorrow's contest as well, because from tomorrow onward, the Super 4 officially gets going, and day after tomorrow, we have the big game, India versus Pakistan, as you mentioned as well. Kabir, Sunrise was a Maryland vibes able, if you remember. Yeah, absolutely, Kabir. Knowing Kabir, it's an inside joke, guys. I remember playing for Sunrise. We got 18 all out against this particular team, and so that's a thing which he's talking about. Truly, Kabir, I remember that vibe. What was that game? I went to get errands, and the game was all over. Truly, I mean, I can't complain. I was having my dinner, and I
I
just
think
got a
from
text.
16 to 0 to 38 all out, they scored 22 runs and lost 10 wickets. And Pakistan scored 29 runs on the last over. So that was just
Truly.
summing up the game.
Absolutely. Jen, coming to you now. How much did that last over dent Hong Kong's confidence getting into this second innings? Everybody knew Pakistan were the favorites, but still, when you have such a bad last over, it can certainly dent your confidence to a larger way, right?
Yeah, I think it just obliterated them. You saw their faces when the camera was panning from player to player. I think the last over was bowled by Shukla, if I'm not wrong, or maybe that's when it started. Uh,
No, Shukla bowled the 18th
Yeah,
over.
so I
And
think
yeah,
the
that's when
18th
it
over is when it
started,
started,
definitely.
right? The carnage started in the 18th over, and from then on, I think Hong Kong just fell apart for them. We saw that but I think against the fact that after that their morale was just obliterated. They had no answers to it, and I think for a long time Hong Kong's answer to every problem was to bang it short. But once the batsman picked it up, it was just too difficult. Khuzdil Shah, excellent batting. There was a stat I think it was raised by I think Sanjay Manjrekar, the fact that this Pakistan template has not allowed him to play a lot of deliveries in comparison to a number
Yeah.
six for India,
I
that is
mean,
Hardik
his
Pandya.
average number of balls, which I'm talking about Asif Ali over here, was 7.7 before this game, and the middle
Correct.
order had only faced 10 balls in the last 7 to 8 overs. That's a very low stat to have. For example, Hardik Pandya and Jadeja has got 15 balls and as an average in the last 7 to 8 games. So compared to other teams, their number 5, 6, and 7 have faced very few balls. So that's a concerning factor for Pakistan. But then today's game, really showed how what is their potential if they can really unleash it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my point, right? I mean, the fact that, how do I put it? It's just not easy for an associate nation, when the batsmen start going in that fashion. And I think Shukla in particular wanted to ball Yorkers, but the moment, the batsman started to hit him straight down the ground, He just lost his confidence to try and ball that fuller end delivery. I think maybe the idea should have been to try and get the batsman to bat away from the V, because we saw in this Sharjah track, whosoever has played well, they've been hitting it straight down the ground. So maybe you made it difficult to do that. But then again they became too predictable with the short deliveries, and you cannot at this, in white ball cricket especially, when the batsman is trying to go after you, there is not one silver bullet, right? It's a strategic way how you place your overs, and you cannot just keep banging in shots. I think that's where they fell apart, and then it just translated into the batting as well. Once this many associate nations have this, three batsmen or four batsmen at best, and I think all three of them were the first three wickets that fell. So then you knew that this Hong Kong team did not have any more power left to withstand the Pakistani attack.
Truly, truly. I mean, that's something which Hong Kong will actually learn also from here on. Pakistan looking dangerous. Yeah, Sanjimani, coming to you, I'll take a question now. How much will this help Pakistan going ahead? Because such a big win will be a major morale booster coming up against India. Because you are coming off a huge victory, close to 160 odd runs. Though it's Hong Kong, but the victory and the kind of authority which they showed in today's game, it really speaks volumes of the team they've got. And against India, now they'll be a much more confident side than what they were last Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely they'll be very confident because the same Hong Kong team put up a strong show against India, but they were completely blown apart by Pakistan tonight. But keeping that into account, if I was in the Pakistan unit right now, if I was in that management side, I would have told the players, okay, we got a clinical performance. We were expected to beat Hong Kong. We did it. We did a fabulous job. But keep our heads down because Sunday it is going to be very
Yeah.
different, because definitely both it is a concerning thing for both the teams. I think both India and Pakistan. India scored 70 runs of the first 10 overs against Hong Kong, and Pakistan scored 67 of the first 10 overs against Hong Kong, both losing 1 wicket each. So I think the top three players have to really sort of get some sort of a move on, because if you are getting 70, 67 against India or Pakistan, like any team batting first, if they get 70 runs against either of the bowling teams, because both the bowling teams look strong, I definitely feel the score won't be more than 150, 160, because they'll be really struggling to score at over 8, 9 runs per over. We saw against India, Pakistan were 91 for 3 at the end of 13 overs, but eventually they just managed to score 140 odd. That too, thanks to the later order contribution from Dahani. So I think
True.
definitely it is going to be very difficult to bat against a world class bowling lineup. Hong Kong did not have the best of bowling lineup, and they were bowling really under pressure. I really feel for this Hong Kong team. I was definitely disheartened with the way they bowled in the last 4 or 5 overs. I think, and I especially feel for somebody like Ehsan Khan, because he bowled his heart out. 37 years of age, bowled his heart out against India. Did not pick up any wicket. Has an average of 18 in T20 internationals. Today picked up Babar Azam, picked up Fakhar Zaman. Again bowled all the difficult overs. 2 overs at the death. 2 overs early on, pick pick the only 2 wickets that Hong Kong managed to pick. So definitely my heart goes out to Ehsan Khan. Definitely, it was really disheartening to see him and the team entirely do so badly. But talking about Pakistan, I definitely feel they have a balance. They know their best 11. And they are going to go with it. The only advantage that I'll give Pakistan against India in the Sunday's clash is that they are sure of their playing 11, unless there is a last moment injury. They're going to field the same 11. But I
Yeah.
can't say the same thing for India, because now with Ravindra Jadeja injured, I think Akshar Patel
Mm. I
will
mean,
will make a
I mean
way. Yeah.
that's an interesting debate actually. I think tomorrow we're gonna have a full on talk about what
Yeah,
we
and
what are some of the
also
way to
I
end.
I
think
mean,
with
you know what?
Jadeja injured, another thing that really it will be concerning for India is that they don't have any more left-handers. I think Akshar Patel coming in, you can't field Akshar Patel at number 4 against Pakistan. He's more of a
Yeah.
bowling all-rounder, even though he has improved drastically with the bat and can score some runs at the death overs. But I would definitely feel now Rishabh Pant becomes a mandatory in the playing
True. I
11.
mean, I think we'll talk about this in depth
Yeah.
tomorrow, but definitely now we have to talk about Pakistan.
Yeah, so
Let's talk about
definitely, I think
Shabab
that
Khan to
that
start.
gives Pakistan the advantage that they have a settled 11. The batting unit has been performing.
Yeah.
Rizwan has been scoring some runs. Fakhar Zaman is back into scoring. The middle order fired when they were required to fire. The spinners are doing a brilliant job, and the pacers Nasim Shah and Dahani look very promising. So I think all
True.
in all, it's a very balanced team.
True. I mean, you have to give credit to Pakistan as well. This is a lineup which they've been fielding for the longest period of time as well, except for a couple of changes. Shaheen Afridi has not been there. Also, if you look from the last T20 World Cup, they've been almost fielding the same unit, and that's the reason why they are a very good and confident team as well. Jaren, coming to you now, let's talk about Shadab Khan, right? We already have a question as to whether Shadab Khan played like the prime Shane Warne, for example, but I would never rate him there. But he just was too good today for the Hong Kong batters, especially his long one was really troubling the Hong Kong batters. And you can expect that from an associate nation for them struggling to pick up his
Yeah.
long one as well. And in a pitch like Sharjah, especially, how big a factor is Shadab Khan going into that Indian game and going ahead into Super Force as well? Because in UAE has got terrific record. He had picked up 21 wickets prior to this game. Now today, in totality, he's picked up 25 wickets in UAE as well. And also his batting ability is such a crucial factor for Pakistan. So you see Shadab Khan to be the vital cog in Pakistan's wheel now going into Super 4 and if they play the final at all.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a superstar of Pakistani team. It's not very often. Pakistanis for their fast bowlers and for their batsmen. It's not very often that you see a mix of two. A leg spinner who's doing so well for them. He's obviously big from Pakistan itself. He has an amazing T20I career. The fact that he has an average of just 22. That's incredible for a leg spinner, especially. And economy as well. It's just 7. That's just unbelievable. You don't see that with leg spinners in modern T20 anymore. He's someone who will not give anything away at the same time.
Yeah.
Keep chipping away at your lineup. So and he's got a very good wrong one
Yeah.
as well. And he's a smart cricketer. He realized.
True.
I think the second ball itself was a wrong one, and it was a sharp turner, right? You don't expect that. I think I remember watching one of the interviews of Shane Warne, and he himself said that he was someone who was not comfortable bowling. In his first over at least, he was not someone who was comfortable bowling variations. He would just bowl stock leg spinners. Obviously, Shane Warne did not play in a era of T20, where variations play a much bigger role than they do now. But the fact that it's not easy, as a leg spinner, you come in straight away, ball your wrong one, and a wrong one is just so pitch perfect, right? It hit right at the middle and off, which is really good to see. And I think this will give him a lot of confidence as well, coming into the Indian innings as well, because he did not do as much as Pakistan would have expected him. He was pushed up the order. He did not perform well there. And then with the ball also, I think he did not do as much impact as Pakistan would have hoped. Uh, India will be a different kettle of fish because
Yeah.
they are much better players of spin, and the quality that Shadab Khan brings into the pitch. India is probably one of the only teams which can tackle that kind of quality, right?
Yeah.
So he'll have to up his game, but this is definitely a confidence booster for him.
Truly, I mean, there's no doubt about the kind of confidence they're
And I
gonna get
think
from this.
recently, I think I would just like to add on that Shadab Khan, the very fascinating and what makes him a very good bowler right now is
Yeah.
that he has significantly improved his economy rate. I think if you think about the earlier like Shadab Khan in his earlier playing days, he would, even if he would have picked up wickets, he used to go for a lot of runs. I think his economy rate was close to 8 at one point of time. But over the last few years, especially playing in UAE, obviously the conditions help him and support him. I think he has considerably brought that economy rate down as well, and I think that plays an important role. He did not pick up any wickets against India, but he was very good in that middle phase where he kept the scoreboard pressure, like he kept building the pressure. And in the last game we saw that Nawaz like bore the fruits of that hard work, whatever Shadab put in.
But
He was
Nawaz,
building up the
let's
pressure,
give
and
credit to Nawaz as well.
yeah,
Even today he was
yeah.
just top notch with his bowling. He's very accurate. He kind of reminds me of Ravindra Jadeja as well in terms of his line and length. He does not have a lot of variations, but then he's a very smart cricketer in terms of his line. He's really good when it comes to landing the ball in a place time and time again. He kind of also reminds me of Akshar Patel's stat bit as well. But now from here on for Pakistan, they have to clearly identify the roles. For someone like a Nawaz, he cannot go on and ball the last overs. That's why I thought today also Babar Azam was pretty smart by being super attacking against Hong Kong. He could have really, taken a back seat and made sure, Hong Kong took the game deep. But then Babar Azam wanted to go for the kill. That's the reason he brought in Nawaz and also Shadab, knowing that the Sharjah pitch was actually offering quite a bit for the spinners as well. Sharjah pitch has really taken me by surprise. It's kind of started to turn quite a lot in the second innings than in the first innings. I expect Dew to play a huge factor in UAE conditions, but this time around, no Dew in both the grounds. That certainly helped the spinners to be in the game. Especially you saw in the game against Afghanistan as well. Mujib and also someone like a Rashid Khan actually taking control of the innings for longer period of time. and I'm expecting the same to continue throughout the course of the Asia Cup.
But I
And
think
one
in
more week to
general
go
it
ahead.
has been a bit easier to bat in the second half of the day. Like, I mean, in the second innings, I think that will you will get to,
But
like, the
but
stats
also in
should say
Sharjah, you
that.
have to keep in mind the pass score is 150. Anything above
Yeah, yeah,
150, it's going to be really hard for you to chase as well. If you remember the last game, Bangladesh took on Afghanistan on that same wicket. Afghanistan actually did struggle. On in 14 overs, they were just 65. If not for
yeah.
Najibullah Zadran, Afghanistan could have possibly had a lot more trouble chasing that score of 120 odd. That's where Pakistan really took the game away from Hong Kong by scoring in excess of 170 plus, and 190 is a massive, massive total. Last over, considering close to 29 runs, you can't do anything much about it. That's where the confidence of Hong Kong team actually dropped there. Until then, Hong Kong team also was pretty confident. You could see the shoulders dropping of the bowler and also the captain. And you saw in the last over, many people were at the ear of the bowler trying to tell him that where to ball, where not to ball, and that's not a good sign as a team. Yesterday, also you saw that from Bangladesh where they were losing the plot. That's what I would say from Hong Kong's perspective. But for
Yeah, and
Pakistan,
I think the games that has not Hong Kong, the games where Hong Kong has not been a part of, all the teams, the all the four remaining teams have won batting second.
true.
So I definitely feel that it has been a bit
But
easier to
Sandeep,
bat
don't
in
you
the
think that's
second
been a
innings.
template which has been followed by all the teams across the world in T20 cricket?
Yeah, but
Everybody wants to
definitely
score.
we were expecting this sort of a pitch in UAE that would support, like, assist the batters to come in the second innings, and the ball would come onto the bat a bit better. But I was really surprised to see in that India Pakistan game, Pakistan really like put the pressures on India, and it did not look at all easy batting in the second innings. They somehow did manage to pull off 145, which definitely looked at least 15 runs short at the halfway stage, so short of par, that is. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to give credit there for Hong Kong to fight against India. But let's talk about Rizwan over here, right? Jaren, I'll come to you on this question. What makes Rizwan stand apart? Because he's such a class player. You've seen him do that, and even in test format. He's not a player who just plays one format and he's a white ball player. You define him as an all-round cricketer. He's one of the best wicketkeeper batters out there in the world at this very point. You compare him with the very best. He can bat anywhere in the batting order. You put him in the middle order, he can do a job. You can put him in opening. He does a very good job there. Last year, he was the leading run scorer. He broke so many records last year. This year, he did not get off to the best of starts, but still, he's there, right up there with some of the best cricketers. What makes him stand apart? Is it his tenacity to go out there and do it time and time again? Him showing a lot more composure, not throwing his wicket away, taking the game deep. Because ultimately, whenever Rizwan stays, he scores a good 80 or a 70. One might really argue a strike rate, but then that's how Pakistan team plays, and that's all what Pakistan want out of him as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Rizwan, there are two things that I really love about him. The fact one is the fact that he always finds a way. Whatever strategy you have against him, or if you try to maybe not allow him to score runs as freely, he just finds a way, right? He has a way. He's not the most. I won't say he has as a big a range of shots that someone like a Suryakumar Yadav has or A.B. de Villiers has, but within that limited range of shots that he has that tendency to find ways of scoring. He's not someone who's just who's gonna get bogged down. Even today, I felt he struggled a bit against Murtaza because he was not giving any pace. He was just hanging it out there. But somehow he was still able to keep rotating the strike. He was able to make sure that he ran those twos and singles and doubles very hard, and he made sure that even if he's not getting boundaries, he was able to get it going. And this Pakistan team, we spoke about it time and time again, right? The fact that there's this template that they play with. It's Babar and Rizwan who set up that platform. Although today I really felt like they were building foundation for far too long, and they should have probably Fakhar Zaman or Rizwan should have started going a bit more earlier, maybe 2 overs earlier. But this is the kind of template that they play, and I think that's why Rizwan fits in a lot better here, is because he's got that ability to accelerate. Again, towards the end of this innings, we saw that it was not like he just let Khushdul Shah dictate it, or he just let Khushdul Shah take the attack, but he himself was also part of the attack that or was also making life difficult for Hong Kong bowlers. So that is one thing that he does really well, and it's just this tendency that he is someone who's not going to get bogged down. Right, he finds a way, whichever format it is, and that's something that I really love about him. And he's
Absolutely,
got
I
a
mean,
very good. He's got some amazing confidence about him. I just saw the way he handled the press conference. Right, there's this aura of confidence around him. He knows what he's capable of, and he knows and
let's
he
not
believes in
forget,
himself.
even in the PSL, he really took the attack to the opposition, and he made all the noise in the PSL where he was known to be that all-round cricketer. He's not yet bowled. He also has the ability to bowl. So you can rate him as a three-dimensional cricketer, as many would call it in this modern era. Abel himself rename himself as Spidey. No, I absolutely not renaming myself as Spidey. Uh, yeah, well played, Pakistan. Absolutely. You know, this is their opportunity to really make it big. Now going absolutely, now coming up against a team like India, they will be really kicking themselves, and they would want to possibly change the result of what happened last Sunday. And now India is also a very good side. This week's contest is going to be much more even, I feel. But for India, they'll be slightly concerned with Ravindra Jadeja missing out. So there's some big calls for India to make. We'll be talking about that in deep. But for Pakistan, it looks like a very good side unless there's a big injury. I don't think they'll make any changes going into that game. And as Sandeep Bhai rightly mentioned, their 11 looks pretty settled. Even Babar Azam, I know he just got a score of 10 in the first game, 9 in the second game, but he's a player of the highest caliber. He can come back, and in a big game like India Pakistan, like last time around, he'll be itching himself to go again. And for Rizwan as well, this particular knock is going to give him a lot of confidence going into that game against India. Last time around, he missed out. He played a very good knock of 43 in that tacky wicket, but next game against India is much more crucial for this team. Uh, thank you, Shivani, on that. It's a really nice comment. I know we can really say that we are trying to bring the best content as much as you people like to hear as well. Pakistan team on fire. Absolutely. Sanjeev, talking about Pakistan team, they're a team which really thrives on momentum. They're a team which really shows the energy on the field. Whenever Pakistan is not doing well, you could see that energy is really missing from the team, right? Now, going into the India game, do you reckon the momentum is on their side compared to India?
No, I don't think so, because India won both their games. Pakistan lost to India, so I don't think that momentum wise they'll have an added advantage. I think the only added advantage that Pakistan will right now have is that their squad looks settled. But we cannot say the same for the Indian team. And talking about Pakistan's momentum and the energy in the field, I think uh, previously. I think 2 to 3 years back, whenever Pakistan used to play in any ICC tournament before the 2017 Champions Trophy, predominantly, we used to think that Pakistan on their best day, on their day, they can be the best team. They can beat the best team in the world. But it
Yeah.
was often seen that Pakistan did not turn up for the game on many occasions. On many important occasions, we could feel that Pakistan did not turn up for the game. So that obviously affected their consistency by a huge margin. But right now, I think this Pakistan team, or the Pakistan team that Sarfaraz Ahmed had a huge role in building, I think that team has been a lot more consistent. I think Pakistan, in between, they went on a T20I winning streak of close to 15-16 games
True.
in 2019-20.
They won nine
That is when
seasons
I
in a
think
row.
that is when the major sort of revival of Pakistan cricket came along in the T20
Mhm.
format. This new
Mhm.
energy, this new team, new approach, I think that is what they have maintained till date. And I'm very happy to see Pakistan sort of grow into one of the more consistent sides. Because my only complaint or issue with the Pakistan team in the past was that they had all the talent, they had everything that is needed to win, but some days you felt that Pakistan did not turn up. They did not have that energy to go out there and prove everybody wrong. But right now, I think it's looking really good for them. And if I'm in the, like, definitely in the Indian camp, I think there will be some concerns regarding the game on Sunday. That
True.
also has to do with their team rather than Pakistan like dominating Hong Kong. I think Pakistan dominating Hong Kong individually, they'll be very happy, but as the course of the tournament, I don't think it will have a lot of effect on the course of the tournament.
Absolutely. Sandeep Bani's cricket knowledge is second to none, I feel. He's right up there with some of the best analysts in the world for me. And he's going to be right up there. I'm just not going to make him. Abel is ready for the after party. If we hit 1,000 subscribers tonight, I'm definitely partying. And let's hope, guys, whoever have joined us, subscribe to the channel right now and click the bell icon as well. Hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers tonight, hopefully, or maybe by tomorrow at least. So we're very close to 1,000 subscribers. It's a huge day for us, because where we started off and how we have progressed through the course of the Asia Cup, it's all your love. This live is about Abel's hair. I don't know. I mean, it's just Aloni who's been commenting on that. I'm not going to put a segment on that. Yeah, Teju, I really feel Sharjah wicket was a very good wicket. I won't complain about the Sharjah wicket today. I thought it was a decent wicket. It was Hong Kong batters who couldn't really pick up Shadab Khan. All else, Sharjah wicket was a decent wicket for cricket. Last game also, it was not like the wicket what you saw in IPL where 120, 110 was a big score in Sharjah. Your thoughts on that, Jaren? What do you have to reckon about Sharjah wicket? Because as a spinner, you like to see such a kind of a wicket, but as a pacer, I don't like such wickets at all because it's just bad for cricket. Is what is my personal opinion. I would like to know your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I draw the line. I just really don't. I mean, no offense to you, Teju, and I hope this not. I mean, maybe you have different reasons. I really hope so, but I really don't like it. I mean, the fact that a lot of fast bowlers love playing on pitches which you don't differentiate where the pitch begins and where the ground ends. But people hate it when you have a dry and a turny and a tacky wicket. It's just different. What do you say, wicket? Like, when you play tennis, you don't complain about the clay, right? It's not like you're like there's too much
It's
clay
not
on the
tennis.
pitch,
That's not
right? You just
that.
adjust your game to it. I think that's just how it works.
I really
And
feel
this
for
Asia
T20
Cup,
cricket. I
I
think
think
there's
in
it's
a
better
some
in an
wickets.
amazing.
India-Pakistan encounter at Sharjah, I think the par would have been at this wicket. I think 150 to 160 would have been par, and
Yeah.
I definitely feel that Pakistan
I mean,
really,
even in this game,
yeah,
160 to 150 was the par. In Sharjah, 150 to 160 is the par. But
yeah,
Hong Kong team just did not really turn up today. And when it came
definitely.
to the batting and in the last over as well, if Hong Kong could have restricted them to 150, maybe psychologically they would have felt much better. Pakistan would have been slightly under the pump going into that bowling innings, but Pakistan would have taken that score as well.
And I
128
think
in itself
moreover,
was
Hong
very
Kong
good.
were really demoralized by the fact that they also had India at like 74-1 at the end of 10 overs, and they let India score 192. Similarly, tonight as well, they had Pakistan at 67 for 1 at the end of 10 overs. They let Pakistan go on to score 193. I think that is very demoralizing as a team. I mean, to know that you had the game till the 10th over, and I think in today's game, I think even till the
Yeah.
13th or 14th over, when Fakhar Zaman got out, just before Fakhar Zaman got out, I think they were really struggling to sort of go at beyond 10-15 runs per over. I think they could have easily restricted Pakistan to 150, 160 if
Hmm.
the death over bowlers had sort of maintained their composure. I think that
But
is where they went
for
wrong.
Hong Kong to come up against the big boys,
Yeah, yeah,
to be
definitely.
honest,
I
that
don't
goes with
blame
a
them, but
lot of
yeah,
skill. And Hong Kong has not played a lot of professional cricket at that level. As I mentioned yesterday, they're all semi-professional cricketers. You know what they do? I just want to remind all of you once again. They are players who, after their practice session, go work as delivery boys for Uber, work as electricians, work in salons. So they are semi-professional cricketers, and they've been under lockdown for 860 days. For them to turn up into this qualifiers and actually qualify and give the big boys a run for the money in itself is a huge achievement for Hong Kong cricket. I believe from here on they're definitely going to build. You saw that in the last game as well. You saw it in the last Asia Cup. I'm hoping that come the World Cup or come the next T20 World Cup, I'm pretty sure they're going to give a lot of teams a run for the money. Like what you saw with Afghanistan, what you saw with so many teams. They start off from baby steps, and today we term Afghanistan to be actually one of the challengers for the Asia Cup. And I'm calling it already that it's going to be Afghanistan in the final of the Asia Cup. I know who they'll be up against, but I'm already calling it. It's going to be Afghanistan taking on some team in the final. I just love the underdog story. I'm not even calling them underdog at this point. They're a real challenger. They're a real contender for this cup because of the world class players they have. They play across the leagues. Hence, they can face any of these pressure situations. For example, Naveen Hulak, you put him in pressure, he can actually deliver. Fazal Haq Farooqi is coming off a very good IPL stint as well. Rashid Khan is a superstar for me. He's one of the best in the world to have ever played the game. So that's for me. He's still very young. Jaren, coming to you for Pakistan now, do you see them actually, pushing Babar down to number 3, if possible at all? Because Fakhar Zaman, I was just looking at stat of him against spin. Yesterday, I thought he was a very good player of spin, but then his stat against spin is not
Yeah.
the best. He's just got a strike rate of 115, which really took me by surprise in
Correct. You and
T20
I saw the
international.
same
no, but the
stat. And
thing we were rooting for Fakhar Zaman today was because Hong Kong had one spinner who is a left arm spinner. So and the other spinner that was going to bowl in the middle overs was a leg spinner. So both the like bowlers, I think the ball would come. Fakhar Zaman could hit with the spin towards the shorter boundaries. I think that was the reason we were rooting for Fakhar Zaman to bat at number 3 tonight. But in general, I think even in general, I think Fakhar Zaman has had a very good performance batting at number 3 for Pakistan rather than opening the innings for Pakistan. Now I'll just let Jarin take it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jaren, go ahead.
I mean, even I was shocked at the same time, because we've grown so used to Fakhar Zaman just dominating spinners. But I think probably the reason why the strike rate is so low is because I think he has an issue with rotating strike when it comes to spinners. I think so. I think he eats up a lot of dot balls there, and then he plays a few release shots which go well for him. So I think that's the reason why the strike rate is a bit low, because as cricket fans, we remember those extravagant shots, but we don't remember the dot balls in the middle of it. And I mean, that's probably the reason why. When it comes to Baba being pushed to number three, if this is the way, Rizwan and but then today we saw even Fakhar Zaman struggling, right? So then whom do you push up the order? Do you push someone like a Kushdil Shah up the order? But then he's doing a fine job for you in the middle order. He's finishing games for you. Or do
No,
you
no, I think
push
this
up someone
template
like
is
Iftikhar Ali?
perfect. I
That's the
think
question mark.
Babar Azam and Rizwan opening the innings. I think there are
Yeah,
no two questions to it. Yeah, that this is the
yeah,
approach
it is
that
working,
Pakistan
right? That's
takes. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
working.
that's what I said yesterday also. They are number three in the world. I know some people might argue, like their critics will argue that they haven't played the best of teams for some time, or they have been cherry picking their opponents to be able to do better. But even then, they're still number three. They're number three, right? The top number three in the world. I think it's India. I don't remember the second team. That's the team in the second ranking is Australia, if I'm not wrong. And then it's Pakistan. So they're doing something right. And this opening pair has been troubling India troubling the world for a long time. This is the same
Hmm.
opening pair that helped them win 10-wicket victory. We did not say anything back then. I think we shouldn't say anything now because it's not like it's not working at all. It's just that we feel maybe we can be tweaked better, but then why change something which is not broken, right?
And I think they are very accustomed to playing at UAE. I think that is another factor why Babar Azam and Rizwan should open, especially when they are playing at UAE or in the subcontinent. I think things may be different when they are playing in Australia because we will see a lot more high scoring games. That time, I think the scoreboard pressure and the strike rate will be a lot more demanding of them. But right now, I think it is perfectly fine because in UAE, the par score more
Yeah.
often than not is 150, 160, and they are more than capable of score. Like if they manage to play out the entirety of 20 overs, I think both the batsmen are more than capable of getting the team to over 180. So I
I
think
mean, yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, makes sense because as I mentioned, I'll have mentioned it again. For example, when you have such a template which is already set, you don't have to tinker with it quite a lot. For Pakistan, their template is to score 160, 170, and rest is upon their ballers to defend it. And I believe Pakistan are a very good chasing side. If you look back in the World Cup, the major games which they won, it was all chasing against India, against New Zealand. They took the game deep, but then they chased it on quite comfortably as well because they have an Asif Ali who's known to be a fierce finisher. They have Mohammad Rizwan who bats through the innings, and also Babar Azam. On a given day, they all can accelerate pretty well. So I believe Pakistan batting first is still vulnerable compared to Pakistan chasing. They still haven't batted second. It'll be interesting if they bat second against India and how India goes about their business because last time around when India batted first against Pakistan on a fresh wicket, you saw what happened. India were 5 for 2 and India lost 3 wickets in the power play. So India wouldn't want to repeat those mistakes, and India would want to start off afresh as well. It's going to be an interesting
Yeah,
game
I
on
think
Sunday. Everybody's hooked. Yeah, go ahead, Jill.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why they're so good at chasing is because of the template, right? Obviously, their ballers are very good. It's not easy to score a 180, 190 against that bowling attack on any ground. But even then, the template, once a target is fixed, the template works better because then Babar and Rizwan, they know how long they have to build that.
Yeah,
They have to keep building that platform. When do they have to go attack? Today, I think that's the reason why you saw that kind of late bloom because they were not aware of maybe I think Rizwan himself came up in the in the postman's presentation. He said that they were trying to understand or assess the pitch. So I think that process takes a longer period of time when you're batting first, and then that's probably the reason why they batted for so long. Although I still differ, I still feel that maybe they should have started going from the 11th over. They had only 1 wicket loss. It's not like they had lost 3 wickets that they really needed to rein in. They could have gone after it. They would have probably scored a 230 the way they ended. But I think that's the reason why they're better chasers. When it comes to India, I think the similar reason, right? We have Kohli, KL Rahul, and Rohit Sharma who play a certain way. So I think when they're
yeah.
chasing, it's easier for them as well. And that's a trend, right? I think
It's a trend
chasing
in
is a
T20 cricket.
trend
You
right now.
can't blame it. All the teams across the world, regardless of the pitch, they all want to score in front and they would all prefer chasing. Even in big finals, we've seen that trend, in one day cricket and also in T20 cricket, where teams do prefer chasing because they like to score in the front. And now with the modern day, they still believe, 7 overs, 100 runs is still a possibility, and 5 overs,
Yeah.
75 is a possibility. So teams do back themselves to chase these scores down. And hence, I believe, even in the game against India versus Pakistan, it's a high octane contest. But I see a team winning the toss to ball first, regardless of what the pitch is going to offer. So I'm not going to be surprised if India wins the toss, balls first. And you saw that in the game against Pakistan when India won the toss and ball first, the crowd erupted. They're pretty sure, as Sandeepani also mentioned, who wins the toss will actually win the match. And here was it for a change. It was Hong Kong. That's why you saw Hong Kong on both the occasions, not chasing it down. But otherwise, most of the teams chasing down has done it quite comfortably, and they've not had any hiccups at all. That's a scary thing. For example, for if India has to come up against Pakistan on Sunday, and if India are batting first, India will be pretty confused as to what is a good score to set against Pakistan, because they've got a deep batting lineup. Till Mohammad Nawaz they can
Yeah.
bat, and if they're playing Hassan Ali at all, I mean Hassan Ali can come and tong the ball a long way. So it's going to be an interesting conundrum for India. That's why we speak about the template time and time again. You have to follow a certain template. Will Shaheen Afridi play on Sunday? I don't think Shaheen Afridi will even play for the World Cup. Shaheen
I
Afridi
think he's
has
not
got
even in
ACL injury.
UAE. He's far away in
He's in
London now.
London. He's in
So
London right
Yeah.
now. He's in London for a reason, because he's looking at his rehab, maybe a possible surgery as well, because he has got an ACL injury. As you know about ACL injuries, it takes a long while to get healed. And once you do your ACL, your recovery, and to come back into a full-fledged international cricket is not going to be easy, because you need your recovery time. And after that, to come into a World Cup in itself is a big deal. I'm not sure, with World Cup being 1 month away, Shaheen Afridi will be fit or not. It's going to be an interesting time for Pakistan, because they've got a gem in Naseem Shah at this point. I believe they're going to be investing in him a lot more going into that World Cup, and I hope they don't overball him, because they've got 7 T20s against England at home. That's where they really have to rest him and make sure they really keep him fit for the World Cup. Because with fast ballers and Pakistan, it's always been the case. They always bring up these exciting fast ballers, they overball them, and they just get burnt out and they just go away from the fray of things. I just hope that's not the case with Naseem Shah also.
And I think
Jerry,
right
your
now
take on,
Pakistan
and
cannot
Shubham, your take
afford
on
to
that.
do that because a lot of Pakistani pacers are really injured right now. Shaheen Shafridi is injured, Mohammad Wasim is injured, and I think Haris Rauf had a little niggle as well. So I think these are three of your, like, not three of your, like, Haris Rauf and Shaheen Shafridi are their two main pacers. So I think it's been a hard time for Pakistan to keep their pacers fit, and I think it is going to be very important how they use him, use their pacers leading into the T20 World Cup. And I think we have had announcements. We have had announcements from Australia and England. They have announced their T20 teams for the World Cup, and I think Shaheen Shah Afridi's place in the team for the World Cup is a huge question mark, because uh, he's out for at least 6 weeks. So I mean, at least till the mid of October, there will be no sight of Shaheen Shah Afridi, given that the World Cup is start, like, India plays Pakistan on the 23rd of October. So I think they'll have very little time to get him like regroup and sort of get him ready for the match. So his place in the game against India is still a question mark for the World Cup as well.
Very interesting. Uh,
I mean, I'll
I
just
don't know
add to
whether.
what you said, Abel. I'm actually worried about this. I mean, I really did not like the call that management made today. I understand it was a do or
Yeah.
die game, but it was Hong Kong. If you can win a
But
game like
Jaren, this
this,
has been the
I'm
case with
sure you're
Pakistan, right?
beat.
They've never had the heart to
Yeah,
experiment. I just want to know whether is it so important to experiment as well. Because for India, you saw the B team play the course of the season for India leading into the Asia Cup. Hence, Arshdeep and Avesh Khan was ready come the Asia Cup as Bumrah was injured. I'd like to know your take,
yes.
how important it is to try your bench strength leading into any tournament.
No, I mean, it is very important, right? Because there's a lot of cricket that these players are playing time and time again. Pakistani players are playing the PSL. They're also playing in other leagues across the world. Indian players have been playing the
Hmm.
IPL. They've been playing so many matches. We've seen, I think, right after the T20 World Cup that they, crashed out of. They're playing New Zealand a week after. It was just like
Yeah.
this, right? And this is what's been happening, especially for the top three countries. The India, England, and Australia. They've been playing a bunch of games, and I mean, players from all three sides have been complaining about this. So this is where you need to shuffle the pack, because we've seen what happens when you don't shuffle the pack. Australia is a prime example. The fact that when once their golden generation, one of the best teams that have played in cricket. Once they
Yeah.
retired, Australia had problems finding players because they did not, they did not allow these younger players to come to the team. Frankly, you can't blame them as well. That team, whom do you replace in that team, right? But this is
Hmm.
this is a problem, and I am afraid that if Pakistan doesn't allow someone like an Usman Qadir to come and play, then see a long tournament, a long cricketing season, you don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, for example, just look at this. So imagine India was playing this 11 throughout the series, and Akshar Patel didn't
Yeah.
get a game, and then suddenly Jadeja is injured, and Akshar Patel has to come in, and he's going to play
True.
against Pakistan, high octane
True.
game. How
I
do you
mean,
expect someone like him to come in with
why
the
are
mentality and mindset?
that's also a point, that why are India not really raffled by this particular move as well? India has got three major injuries in Harshal Patel, Aksar Patel, and Bumrah. All the three Gujarati boys are out, and But yeah, just jokes aside, even having so many injuries, Indian fans are so hopeful that the replacement who's going to replace them are going to do a
Correct.
good job, because you saw them in the IPL, you saw them playing for India leading into this Asia Cup, and in majority of the series, for example, the series against South Africa, the series in Caribbean, and also the series in Zimbabwe, you saw all these players get majority of the opportunity. You didn't see Jadeja even play. Jadeja played a couple of innings here and there, but majorly it was these youngsters who were taking the center stage. And for example, Akshar Patel has come off a long way. He's been a player who's been in the fray of things for the last 7 to 8 years, so he's not a newbie to the setup at all. And Akshar Patel has played in some major games where I think it's going to be his first major India Pakistan game, but I'm pretty hopeful that with the kind of form he's in with the bat, he can walk into that Indian team to bat number 7. And for Pakistan, that's where they'll also have to try quite a bit. They'll have to try different youngsters leading into the World Cup. What if you have a Naseem Shah who's injured? Can
Yeah.
Naseem sustain pressure? It's a very good question. I would want Sandeep to take that up, because last game they told Babar Azam gave a justification that Naseem Shah did not get cramps because of the humidity or the temperature. He got cramps because of the pressure which he was under. It's a very interesting take, because I was just reading through sports psychology and how it can affect your body. One thing which I read was when you're under a high pressure game, your body can react differently. And getting cramps is one of the major things. Getting cramps or pulling a muscle is a thing, because your muscle will be at its weakest when when your body is feeling tense. So that's a very interesting question by Shinwari, and I like you to compare it with that, whether a youngster coping up pressure in a high stage can it affect his body and get injured quicker than one can really expect, even though he's very fit.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a very valid point. I mean, the pressure that one faces, forget a 19-year-old. I mean, even 27, 28-year-olds, if they play for the first, and to keep in mind, it was his first T20 international game. To make your
Yeah.
T20 debut in the Asia Cup against India is a huge thing. And just to add to that, that you have to come and bowl and defend 147, just to add to that pressure. So I think he had a lot of pressure, and I think he did manage it very well. I think he started off really well. He put the Indian batters, I think all the Pakistani pacers, I think Dahani was playing his second or third T20I game. uh, Nasim Shah was making his international debut. I think both of them bowled exceedingly well. They kept the pressure on throughout the innings, and India never really looked like they were cruising in that chase of only 147. That speaks
Yeah.
volumes of what these youngsters are capable of. And I think they did really like manage the pressure really well. I think even with those cramps, they put all their heart out. They bowled the overs, they ran hard, they bowled the hard lengths. And even though that like Dahani was hit for a six in that 18th or 19th over, but I think he really bowled his heart out. And you have to uh, like acknowledge the fact that it was a very commendable effort. And I think Nasim Shah, leading up to this series against Netherlands, he also made his ODI debut against in the previous series against Netherlands. 3 games,
Yeah.
10 wickets, 10 wickets in 3 games. So he's coming off
Including a
from
5 wicket
great
haul as
form.
well.
Yeah, with a 5 wicket haul in the final game to sort of help Pakistan win that game, because Pakistan were at one point looking that they will lose the game to Netherlands. So I
Yeah.
think to come from there talks about his character. I think Nasim Shah is a great character, and definitely in the game against India as well, coming in his debut, picking up 2 wickets. Even in today's game, he picked up 2 wickets, and two of the most like important wickets, Nizakat Khan and Babar Hayat. I think the game was done and dusted in the third over itself when Nasim Shah came in and picked those 2 wickets. So I think Nasim Shah will be very important, especially because Sahin Shah Afridi will not be able to make it at least till the start of the World Cup. So I think it will be like he'll be a very important component for Pakistan in this Asia Cup and in the
Mm.
series against England as well. And I think both Dahani and Nasim Shah, if they can continue to sort of perform this way and sort of excite all the like crowd like this, like they are putting on a great show. And I think if they continue to do this, I think they are definitely going to keep their place for the T20 World Cup as well. I definitely don't think Hassan Ali right now is up that pecking order when it comes to bowling in T20 internationals. I think Pakistan really gave him a lot of chance. He was playing all the three formats, and at one point, Hassan Ali just did not have that form going with him. So I definitely feel that he was, I think, the second highest or third highest wicket taker, second highest wicket taker for Pakistan last year, and I think fourth or fifth highest overall. So I think he had a very good year last year, Hassan Ali, that is. But this year he has not looked good. PSL, he traveled. He did not get to play all the games in PSL as well. I think he was dropped from his team as well. So I think it's a huge statement, and I think they are going to maintain with these youngsters. Pakistan is going to go ahead with Dahani, Nasim Shah, and Haris Rauf for the T20 World Cup as well. If Shaheen Shah Afridi is not fit.
Should Pakistan play Haider Ali? Because an interesting player, 21-year-old, has got a lot of promise. He showed a lot of promise in the PSL, and whatever opportunity he's got for Pakistan as well. He bats like he really packs a punch against quality opposition. Sandipani and Jaren, I want to know your opinion, because someone like a Haider Ali is a youngster to invest upon. Should Pakistan really try him at least? Maybe not in Asia Cup in that series against England, because they're going to be up against England for a 7-match T20 series, at least before the World Cup. In case there's an injury in the middle order, like what you saw in the Asia Cup, they would want someone to be ready, right? Jaren, coming to you first up.
I mean, I am not much aware of him as a player personally, but I'll just give you an overall perspective on that. I think Sandipani is much more aware of how he performed in PSL. But for me, this is my point, right? You have someone like a Haider Ali sitting. I think the commentator spoke about him as well. You have an Usman Qadir sitting. These youngsters, if you don't play them against Hong Kong, it could have been the match which groomed them, right? You're still playing.
Yeah,
I know it's the opposition is not as big. It's Hong Kong after all. But who would you rather play them against? Would you rather play them against England, or would you rather play them against Hong Kong? I would answer Hong Kong. And the fact that
yeah.
some of the players probably required that, I understand, this tendency to play your best 11 every match is a good idea. But sometimes it's important that you allow, these youngsters to also, play themselves out, see how an international game is, see the pressure of international game.
I think both of them lost their internet. I don't know what exactly happened.
Sorry, guys. I mean, there was a slight technical glitch, uh, and we lost it. We
Yeah, yeah.
lost
Really sorry for that. I
it.
thought I thought maybe I lost my internet, so I just
There was a
refreshed the page and
StreamYard glitch. There was a StreamYard glitch.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody lost the connection right there. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah, I think from
after,
whatever I think Jerin was talking about Haider Ali's chances of playing, I definitely agree with him with whatever he said, because I definitely feel if you had to play Haider Ali in the Asia Cup, it had to be in tonight's game, because you won't risk it. And knowing Pakistan, I know that they are not going to play Haider Ali in the Asia Cup itself unless there is any injury to either Iftikhar Ahmed or Asif Ali. I think Jerin was talking about his PSL stats. Yeah, I think he is a he has an average of in the mid 20s in the PSL, and he's used as a middle order hitter. I mean, he's used in the roles that Asif Ali and somebody like a Khuzdil Shah or Iftikhar Ahmed is used. Because with Pakistan, we know that the top three batters are going to play the majority of the deliveries. So you will
Yeah,
have only a small cluster of deliveries for the middle order batsman to really capitalize and
yeah,
get going. And I think if you have to play somebody like a Iftikhar Ahmed, uh, and then there is no place for Haider Ali. I think Iftikhar Ahmed or Haider Ali are the only possible components that can change in Asia Cup. Other than that, I think the batting unit looks really stable because Pakistan will not risk dropping Asif Ali, even though Asif Ali has not been in the best of forms. But we all know that Pakistan really rate him very highly, especially because of his match-winning abilities and his he brings that X factor to the team, and definitely his firepowers at the end, along with Khuzdil Shah's, will be very instrumental in Pakistan's performance going ahead. And I think if definitely in some of the games, if Pakistan lose a couple of wickets early, I think that is when Iftikhar Ahmed will come in at number 4, and
yeah.
we'll get to see somebody like a Shadab Khan promoted up the order, or a Mohammad Nawaz promoted up the order, because Mohammad Nawaz, Shadab Khan, uh, like cannot get going right from ball one. They are more sort of a players who will take some time to get going, rather than Asif Ali or a Khuzdil Shah. We have seen that Khuzdil Shah and Asif Ali are your proper finishers. They can come in the 15th 16th over. They'll be coming in the 15th 16th over and just going for the balls. They will just be slogging. So I think that is how Pakistan will be using Haider Ali. So if they want to play Haider Ali, either of Iftikhar Ahmed or Asif Ali has to step down. And given the current circumstance, I don't see that happening in the Asia Cup. But definitely, I would love to see Haider Ali in the England series, because he has been making some noise in the PSL this season. He made some noise in the PSL this season with his bat, and a very
Yeah.
exciting prospect. Very excited to see him.
I mean, very exciting prospect indeed, because what he brings into the table is also that he's very young. He's got the potential to take on the big boys, and also at the same time, what he can possibly deliver is that 10 years of future of Pakistan. At this point, if they invested him, you never know where he could actually end up in next 10 years time as well. So Pakistan should be pretty prudent in where they actually put their money on. If they can really invest in this guy, you never know. You can get great returns as well. From whatever I've seen of him, he reminds me of a player who's got the potential to really succeed in the international stage, because not done anything wrong as well. Whatever opportunity he's got in PSL, he really packs a punch. He really likes to take the bowling on as well. Maybe this is a
I think
time for
all
someone
the
like
middle order batsmen from Pakistan have got very limited opportunities when it comes to playing for like the international for the national side. I mean, for Pakistan, they have hardly managed to play, because we have seen this is the template of the Pakistan team. We have seen either of Mohammad Rizwan or Babar Azam taking the game deep. Or for that matter, even Fakhar Zaman. I think one of the three players we have seen to play throughout the innings, and then from the other end, we have seen the middle order getting a chance to play. And whenever they have got a chance, whenever Pakistan has lost 2 or 3 wickets early, that has been very rare. But whenever it has happened, we have seen the team crumble. I think Pakistan have not put up a good enough effort when the middle order was really tested, and or when they are asked to come in at the 7-8 over mark, and sort of build the position for the team to really accelerate. I think that is where the Pakistan team have to be tested, and that is why even I totally agree with Jedin on that point, because I would have liked to see Pakistan experiment a bit in this game against Hong Kong. I mean, definitely it was a do or die game, but still, with Hong Kong, you fancy your chances. I mean, this was the only game where they could have sort of tried different players.
True, true. I mean, that is where you want to go ahead as well, in especially in international cricket, where you want to invest in a youngster and see where he stands up in a couple of years' time. But talking about that, we have a huge game tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan, because that's a major game where Sri Lanka are going to be up against Afghanistan, who they lost to last time around. It was exactly last Saturday where they took on the same opposition, and Sri Lanka really crumbled at that point. They would really want to change the result. I think tomorrow's game is going to be played in Sharjah, so it's a different ground, and Rashid Khan is definitely going to be a huge, huge threat for some team like Sri Lanka, because Rashid Khan and Mujibur Rahman's form has been the huge boost for Afghanistan. And at the same time, Sri Lanka will be coming riding high on momentum after that close win against Bangladesh. Though they committed a lot of mistakes, they would want to not do that yet again. Sandeepan, your takes on it, looking at the Sri Lankan squad at this point, do you see any changes? And this is our prediction 11 as well.
I definitely don't think they are going to make any changes unless I mean, in the pace department, I feel the Sri Lankan pace department really lacks experience, and I we have seen in the death overs by the fact that Wanindu Hasaranga had to bowl 3 of his 4 overs in that last 8 or 9 over phase, and I think the Bangladeshi players really targeted him in the last game. But I think tomorrow at Sharjah, I think it is going to be a different story because it is going to be a battle of spinners because Sri Lanka has Wanindu Hasaranga and Mahish Thikshana, and Afghanistan definitely have Mujibur Rahman and Rashid Khan. They also have Nabi, and I think in the Sri Lankan department there will be also the availability. I would definitely like to see more of part-time spin from. I mean, all these bowlers. I think Kushal Mendes, if he wouldn't have been keeping, I think he has bowled quite a few times for the international side and for his domestic side as well.
Yeah.
And I think Dinesh Chandimal, if he gets to play that game, I think Dinesh Chandimal can very well don the gloves, or for that matter, even Rajapaksha can keep the wickets. So I definitely feel in the bowling department, I think is where Sri Lanka really lacks experience. Apart from their spinners, I think the pacers in the last game we saw Asita Fernando make his debut. He was very good up front, but in the last over he considered 17 runs, and overall I think his figures were 51 for 1 in 4 overs. So
Looking
I
at
think
this is our prediction 11, right? And I'm expecting the same 11 to play as well. Whereas someone like Gunatilaka will make way for Chandimal. Is that the way to go for you as well?
yeah, definitely, I think if you are playing I have been very vocal about it. If you are playing, if you have your senior players in the squad, having known that your senior players are in the best of forms, even in the last game it was Kushal Mendes, one of their senior players, who stepped up along with Dasun Shanaka, the captain. So I think your senior players have to step up when the team is in dire needs, and I think Sri Lanka right now really needs that lift. And Dinesh Chandimal is making a comeback into the T20I side. He has made it to the squad, and I definitely feel he's a better fit, especially because Gunatilaka is not opening. Sri Lanka is going with Nisanka and Kushal Mendes as their openers. That gives Gunatilaka, like that makes Gunatilaka come into bat at number 3 or number 4. And I definitely think that Gunatilaka number 3 and number 4 is not the place for Gunatilaka. I think in T20s he has been lacking. We have been very vocal about his average of 17 in T20Is after 40 games, close to 40 games. So I definitely feel Dinesh Chandimal should get a go. And
Yeah.
definitely I would be a bit concerned with this bowling lineup. I definitely feel Dilshan Madhushanka, Avishka, Asita Fernando, and I mean Chamika Karunaratne cannot be your pacers, like top 3 pacers heading into a T20I game. I think Chamika
Yeah.
Karunaratne is the only bowler who has some sort of experience bowling in the death overs. So I think he'll take the majority of the responsibility of bowling in the death overs along with Wanindu Hasaranga. But if you keep somebody like Asita Fernando and Dilshan Madhushanka for the death overs, I think it is going to be trouble for Sri Lanka, especially given the fact that they were dominated by Afghanistan in the last game. Rahmanullah Gurbaz and Hazratullah Zazai came in, and I mean the target was really small. They were chasing 106, so it was not really a challenging task. So they could come guns blazing right from the start, and they did. The openers killed the game in the power play itself. And I think
Very
we are
interesting.
going to see something different tomorrow. I think Sri Lanka is going to put up a much closer contest. But definitely, when we are rounding up the teams, I think Afghanistan looks a bit more balanced when compared to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, true. If Abel is married, many people are going to unsubscribe. Guys, please don't unsubscribe to our channel for any reason. And yeah, please, whoever is present away, I request you all to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon as well. Yeah, this is what keeps us going. If Boomer hits 1,000, you should answer. I don't know what she's talking about, but I believe I'm definitely there to answer all the questions. Should Asranga bat better? Very interesting question because Hasaranga has been used differently by Sri Lankan team. For example, they've used him at number 6, given him that license to go and hit. But then Hasaranga has got so much of batting potential, isn't it? Shouldn't he be batting a little more responsibly, especially coming up the order or putting him in a situation where it takes a little bit of time and get going because he's trying to go for only shots from ball 1, which is actually making him put no price on his wicket at all. So it's a very scary time for Sri Lanka also if they're going to use Hasaranga in such a position, isn't it?
I think Sri Lanka has three all rounders, three class all rounders in the form of Dasun Shanaka. Although he's more of a batter, I think there has been some concerns with his bowling. I think Sri Lanka is trying to preserve him. He's the captain, and they don't lose. They don't want to lose their captain to, like, don't want to make him prone to injuries. So I think they have been very conservative in Shanaka not bowling. But they also have the likes of Chamika Karunaratne along with Hasaranga as their all rounders, and I think they bat pretty deep. I think Shanaka comes in at number 6 after Asalanka, Gunatilaka, and Rajapaksha. Followed by, like, when these players follow the openers, and I think Hasaranga comes in at number 7 ahead of Chamika Karunaratne, which shows that Sri Lanka has a lot of belief in Hasaranga when it comes to batting, because we have seen in that T20 World Cup, I think qualify it was one of the qualifiers where Hasaranga played that knock of 78. Uh, just took the game away with the bat as well in last year's World Cup. So I
Against
definitely feel
Ireland.
that.
Scored
Yeah,
that against Ireland. He was
yeah,
against
he scored
Ireland.
that. Yeah, it was against Ireland. Yeah, so I think he has the potential with the bat, and they can definitely try somebody like a Hasaranga, or for that matter somebody like a Chamika Karunaratne as a pinch hitter early on, because I think they have enough firepower at the end, because Rajapaksha, Shanaka, Hasaranga, and Chamika Karunaratne are your 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you bat pretty deep. You can definitely send in one of them as a pinch hitter depending on situations, especially because we know that Pathum Nisanka is a player who sort of takes time to go, and even we have seen Kushal Mendis early on. He has really struggled in his innings early on, and definitely he
Yeah,
he was really prone to like getting out against the pacers. I think Kushal Mendis is a way better player of spin than he is a player of pace. So I think he's
yeah,
going to be very important for Sri Lanka tomorrow, because how Sri Lanka managed to tackle the early onslaught from Mujibur Rahman is going to be very interesting. Fazal Haq Faruqi and Mujibur Rahman are definitely going to come at them in the power plays, and
mm,
and especially given the fact that tomorrow it is going to be like going to assist the spinners more than the pacers, because if we are playing as Sharjah, we have seen that spinners get a lot more sort of help from the pitch as compared to the pacers. So I think tomorrow's game, it's going to be a battle of spin, and I think the better spinning duo will win the game.
truly, truly. I mean, no doubt on that. Let's put out the Afghanistan team. Meanwhile, a very strong looking side, very settled as well. They've not made any changes through the course of this tournament, and I don't expect them to make any changes tomorrow as well, because it's a big game for them tomorrow, and they're looking like a team who really wants to go out there and win. Azmatullah Omarza has been brilliant as well. They've not used him in a proper manner, but whatever opportunity they've given him, he has really turned up. Fazal Haq Faruqi has been their go-to man. Kareem Janat has not really come into the party. He's a decent all-rounder. And last match, you saw Najibul Azizullah take the game away as well. In the last game against Sri Lanka, you saw Rahmanullah Gurbas and Azratul Azizai actually finished the game off earlier on. Any changes you expect from this squad, or do you reckon they're going to go in with the same 11?
No, no, I think if it's not broken, you definitely don't need to mend it. I think they should definitely stick to the same team. They have been very dominant, especially the bowling department. I think they restricted Sri Lanka to 100 and 506. They restricted Bangladesh to below 140. So I definitely feel that their strength is their bowling, and any sort of low scoring pitches is going to assist Afghanistan, because they are the better, more often than not, they are the better bowling team. And I think if you compare this with the Sri Lankan team, I think they are on paper the better bowling team tomorrow as well. So I definitely feel that a low scoring game is going to help them, and a lot will depend on how their spinners go. Yeah, you spoke about Azmatullah Omarzai not being used very much. I think he has bowled just the 2 overs in the last 2 games. He went for 21 or 20 runs in the game against Sri Lanka. He bowled just that 1 over, but he came back very strong against Bangladesh, took the responsibility of bowling that last over. I think he was absolutely spectacular in that last over against Bangladesh, considering just 7 runs. And talking about Karim Jannat, I definitely feel Afghanistan has at least 7 bowling options, so they can sort of shuffle a bit with their bowling lineup. But right now, I think Fazal Haq Faruqi, Navinul Haq, Rashid Khan, and Mujibur Rahman have been bowling their quota of 4 overs. That is 16 overs from them, and the remaining 4 overs have been given, the duty has been split between somebody like a Umar Zai, Muhammad Nabi, and even tomorrow, I think tomorrow Nabi will play a more important role as compared to Umar Zai and Jannat, especially because
Yeah,
I think spinners will get more assistance from the pitch. So I definitely feel that uh, the, the services of most of their all-rounders has not been required till now. But you may need them tomorrow, because Afghanistan have been very clinical with the batting. I mean, they really struggled early on against Bangladesh, against the spin of Bangladesh. They were really
Mm.
finding it difficult to pick Mosaddeq Hussain or a Shakib Al Hasan. So tomorrow, I think they will have a very challenging task, playing against Hasaranga and Mahis Thikshana early on. But I think they have the batsmen, they have the batting, they have Zazai, they have Najibullah Zadran, obviously coming from that 43 of 17 balls. Then there is Mohammad Nabi always. There is the Rahmanullah Gurbaz. And the best of all, I think, has been their player who has sort of looked to take the game deep. I think their anchor Ibrahim Zadran has been one of the players
I
of the
mean,
tournament
truly, I
for
mean,
me.
we
I
are
mean,
not talking much about someone like an Ibrahim Zatra. He's been such a crucial cog in the wheels
yeah,
for
I mean, because he
Afghanistan
played that
over the
41
last 2 years.
like run a ball knock. That is why we have not been very vocal about his performance and
Yeah,
his like, because Najibullah Zadran came in, scored 43 of 17, and took
yeah,
all the limelight. But I think a lot of the credit goes to Ibrahim Zadran. Also, in the last game, I think Afghanistan got going in that 15th over from the two boundaries that Ibrahim Zadran hit. It was the two boundaries that Ibrahim Zadran hit that got the team going. So
yeah.
I definitely feel that he's going to be a very important cock tomorrow, especially
Truly.
to tackle their spinners.
Truly, I mean, I don't see them making any changes in the 11 as well. If you look, Afghanistan have got a certain template which is set, which is to go hell for leather from ball one, and they've been doing a pretty decent job with that. But I was pretty surprised with the kind of maturity they showed in the last match. They took the game deep and they made sure they not actually use unnecessary shots as well. The kind of maturity what they showed was pretty commendable from Afghanistan's perspective. Jaren, I think you're back. Jaren, your
Yeah,
thoughts on Afghanistan? You have thoughts on Afghanistan because last match we did give them a lot of appreciation and the maturity they showed. And now going into Super Fours, that's where the pressure really kicks in. Now they are termed as one of the favorites to go into the final as well. Do you reckon that's going to impact them in any way? And who are the players who are definitely going to go and step up in a big game like this?
yeah, I think their first match is going to be in Sharjah. So I think here Sri Lanka is. I feel Sri Lanka will be a little bit more, at par with the Afghanistani team. I feel when it came to the power play, I think Sri Lanka was taken aback with the spell that Fazala Faruqi balled. I think in Sharjah now that he won't get that assistance as much as he got in Dubai, you might see a better Sri Lankan team. Also, the fact that they won against Bangladesh, that kind of win is revitalizing any team, right? And they are bitter rivals after all, Bangladesh. So I think we will see a lot better performance because, as Sandipani mentioned as well, a lot of Sri Lankan batsmen I feel are much suited to facing spin than fast bowling. And tomorrow you'll not expect a lot of fast bowlers to come up. And even if they do, I think they won't be as effective as they are in Dubai because Dubai the ball is fizzing a lot more of the pitch. It's coming on a lot more quicker. And compared to that, in Sharjah, it's been a little bit more tamer. For me, I would personally say that someone like Najibullah Zadran, he's been excellent, right? And the fact that I think what I really love about this Afghanistan team is if you look at all the teams that are playing in this Asia Cup, this is the only team that probably plays that modern T20 format, right? The reason I say that is because their openers are someone are two players who can really go at it. Who have really good strike rates. They can on their day they can really take bowling lineups apart and although Abel, I really feel that because this is like it's a Super Four tournament. I think everyone's going to play 3 matches. They're going to play each other once. So I think that's the reason why I feel maybe Afghanistan might not make it in the finals. If it was a semi-final format, then you might have had given them more chances because in a knockout match, one match, anything can happen. Here, then they'll have to beat either India or Pakistan, or you'll have to hope that India or Pakistan kind of messes it up against Sri Lanka. Other than that, I think it'll be difficult for Afghanistan to get into the finals. They'll have to face the big boys, and then tomorrow's match becomes a knockout for them. Because if they lose tomorrow, then I really don't see them, in this tournament any further. Because at least if they win tomorrow, they need a win tomorrow because tomorrow is probably the easiest match they'll play, and this Sri Lankan team is not going to make it easier for them because they have won the Asia Cup 5 times. If anything, they know how to win the Asia Cup.
Absolutely. Thank you, Priyanka, for that. It's a lovely message as well. And what has Afghanistan done right this time around? It's a very good question because I totally believe in my perspective, Afghanistan has got a very good cohesive unit compared to other seasons. Their unit is pretty settled, and they've got players who've been playing in different leagues across the world. And for example, something like a Mujibur Rahman's form has been such a vital cog for Afghanistan this Asia Cup, especially. If you talk about the World Cup last time around, Mujibur Rahman did not play the couple of matches, and he had to come in a match against New Zealand where he was coming off an injury, and that really did not help him, and he was not looking in rhythm at all. Even if you remember the last IPL in 2021 IPL, he was not looking the ball that he was is known to be, and that's the reason he did not get even the selection. He got into an IPL contract, he did not make it to the 11 because of the very reason that he was not looking the Mujibur Rahman we know him of him like in 2018, 2019, like the name what he made of himself, right? And right now, what Mujibur Rahman has done is he's got his lines right. He's got his variations to good effect. For example, the carom ball which is coming off his hand has been doing a very good job. He's got two kinds of carom ball. If you guys notice, he's got a carom ball outside his middle finger, which he flicks, which goes away, and one from inside his middle finger, which he flicks comes in. So that's a very good variation to have, and it actually bamboozles a lot of batters. If you do not know where it's going to turn, especially a ball like carom ball, it's very tough to pick. Firstly, and if you do not know which way it's going to turn from a carom ball perspective, then you're definitely going to struggle. Many people can pick up a carom ball. Usually, if a carom ball turns away from it, that's how Ashwin balls, that's how Mahesh Deekshana balls. But this dude has got a carom ball which actually can come into you as well. So that's a scary variation to have. And he's also got a very good googly, for example, which really comes in. So that's what makes Mujibur Rahman apart. And Mujibur Rahman has been their batter. And other than that, Afghanistan always relied on their bowling, but the batters had to step up. And this tournament, Rahmullah Gurbaz, Zazai, Najibullah, Ibrahim Zadran, all of them stepping up. And for example, now you don't have a Nabi and Karim Jana to really do the job. They're also very potent batters. They still haven't come to the party. So once you make them all come to the party, they are a very cohesive unit. And that's the reason I believe Afghanistan might make it to the final. I do not know how they're going to make it, but if they do, I'm going to be super happy for this team because they are going to be a wonderful story for generations to talk about from having had whatever they've faced in the last 1 year. And it's going to be an interesting story for Afghanistan cricket at large. Sadiman, your thoughts? Can they really make it to the final from here on?
I think if they have to make it to the finals, I totally agree with what Jedin said. They have to win tomorrow because I think tomorrow will be the easiest of the opponents that they are going to face. Because Pakistan and India, it is going to be very difficult to beat either Pakistan or India, given the form that they are in, given the squad that they have. As compared to Sri Lanka, I think Sri Lanka, they lack in the bowling department. As I said, they lack experience in the bowling department. In the batting department as well, they have not really clicked in the game against Afghanistan. They really crumbled. They did not get any start whatsoever. Yeah, the pitch will not assist somebody like a Fazal Faruqi the way it did in Dubai, but definitely it is going to assist Mujibur Rahman a lot better than what it did in Dubai. So I think they are going to bring in Mujibur Rahman right in the power play. They are not going to hold him till the seventh, eighth for the middle overs. I think middle overs will be operated by Nabi and Rashid Khan. I definitely hope that two of the first 6 overs at least Mujibur Rahman bowls in the power play along with Fazal Faruqi because that will help to build the pressure, especially because Pathum Nisanka has not looked in the best of forms. Kushal Mendes, even though he scored that 60 of 37 balls, he got too many lifelines in that innings of 60. So I definitely feel that even he will be a nervous starter tomorrow. So I definitely feel Mujibur Rahman will be very effective in the power play. And I think Afghanistan has come a long way. They look way more balanced. I think again, I'll agree to what Abel said on this one because I think they have a very stable unit this time around. We have always been very we have very highly spoken about the bowling unit of Afghanistan, but majorly it has been just Rashid Khan and sometimes Mujibur Rahman. But this time around, they also have Fazal Faruqi. So that covers 12 of your 20 overs. So they just have to tackle the remaining 8 overs. And I think Navinul Haq, Mohammad Nabi, Omar Zai, they have all combined and done a spectacular job in the last 2 games. If they can manage to do it tomorrow as well, I think Afghanistan will win it. And definitely the batting from the batting department, I think most of their all-rounders haven't had a go because their services have not been required till now. I think the job has been done by Zazai, Najibullah Zadran, Ibrahim Zadran, and Rahmanullah Gurbaz. And especially, I think it is very good to see finally somebody like a Zazai and Najibullah Zadran. They have been playing for Afghanistan for quite some time now, at least for 6-7 years. So I think they have really come of age right now, and I think the maturity that somebody like Ibrahim Zadran coming in to know that he needs to sort of anchor the innings. And that is something that I've seen very recently for Afghanistan, because previously the approach had been previously I think Rahmanullah Gurbaz used to come in at number 3 in the World Cup, or even prior to that, Rahmanullah Gurbaz was not opening the batting for Afghanistan. There was Mohammad Shahzad who used to open along with Zazai. So I think the approach was all out attack until you lose too many wickets, and then you have to settle. But right now, I think the maturity that they have shown to bat according to situations, they have been very clever to go against the bowling against Sri Lanka, and to wait against Bangladesh, because the pitch was assisting the spinners. They realized that they'll get their opportunity, and Shakib Al Hasan made a tactical error bringing in pacers in that 15th, 16th over. So I definitely feel that there was some mistakes from the opposition that Afghanistan capitalized on, but they will be very happy with whatever they have done. To win against Bangladesh, they proved that it was not a one game wonder. Plenty of times you see a team win convincingly in the first game, but like lose in the very next game. But they did a very good job to like get that back to back wins and lead the group that they were in. So I definitely feel they are coming tomorrow as favorites, and I think they should pull it off against Sri Lanka.
I mean, I understand Sri Lanka are very players of spin, but Jaren, my question to you is, can they actually play someone like a Noor Ahmed? Because Noor Ahmed so far, he's not gotten an opportunity. We all know his ability. You saw that in the Under 19 World Cup. You saw it in the Big Bash League as well. That's the reason he got a nod ahead in the IPL as well, where he was part of the Gujarat Titans setup. And he's a very good potent Chinaman bowler. So, which means if Noor Ahmed also plays, they have a leg spinner, they have a Chinaman bowler, and a mystery spinner in Mujibur Rahman. They can actually tie a web of 12 overs against Sri Lanka, which is going to be quite a daunting task for Sri Lanka. Though they are predominantly good players who spin, but in a wicket like Sharjah, that could be a daunting task, isn't it?
I think for me, maybe Noor. I mean, I think he might not play. Because if they wanted to play him, they would have probably played him against Bangladesh, because that was a match which had much less importance to Afghanistan, because they already won a match. I'm not saying it was not important, but compared to what they're going to face tomorrow, yes, that match against Bangladesh, they could have adjusted a little bit, and they're playing in Sharjah as well. But the fact that he did not play is probably signs that they don't want to, change their lineup too much. And this lineup is doing everything right, right? Whom do you then replace? I think even tomorrow, given the fact that it's happening in Sharjah, you might see Navinul Haq come into picture, because he's got some very good slow ball variations. So I think towards the end, you might see him as well face up. So I think it's not a bad idea, but I really don't think they're going to bring that change in. I would have loved to seen it happen, but if they would have, they would have done that against Bangladesh.
I mean, right. I totally agree with you, Jaren, because Naveen Ulak is one player who hasn't yet come to the party, but he's got so much of potential as well, with his back of the hand slower ball, with his leg cutter, and also he's a very good bowler in the death. He's not really shown his potential yet. Salimani,
And
coming
I
to
think
you on
Umar
that
Gul guiding
question.
the pace department, I think Afghanistan are on safe hands. I think they have improved
Yeah.
drastically over the last 2 or 3 years when it comes to the pace department. Early on, we used to see that the pace department was a weak link for Afghanistan. I mean, the spin department is still way stronger than the pace department when it comes to Afghanistan right now. But I think
Yeah.
with Umar Gul coming in, there has been a lot of improvement. I think somebody like a Navinul Haq, Omar Zai, Karim Jannat will take a lot of positives from whatever feedback they get. And definitely Fazal Faruqi is a world class player. I mean,
Truly. I mean,
he's
Umar
yeah.
inclusion into that setup is going to do the Afghanistan ballers a world of good, and especially the Pacers. Once they get the Pacers also said, and I believe they're going to be world beaters, especially in T20 format. Maybe not in Test and One Day. They still have a long way to go. They have in T20 format with the kind of players they have, with the kind of superstars they have to change the match on their day. I believe they've got all in them to really go a long way, especially in this Asia Cup as well. That's why I believe they are the team to really fear for a lot of teams, because they're the team which looks like the most dangerous one so far, because they played fearless brand of cricket. When a team is fearless, that's why you should be feared of to face that particular team. More than India, they've looked like a team who are fearless. They've got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, there's no pressure on them. They want to go out there and enjoy themselves, and that's what they've been doing right. Jaren, especially in a tournament, in a multinational tournament, how important it is to enjoy yourself, because when you take a lot of pressure, when you take a lot of expectations and baggage into a tournament like this, you often tend to crumble. And that's what we've seen of a lot of teams. We've seen of India as well in the last World Cup. We've seen of India in multiple occasions. Here, a team is there to play with fearless brand of cricket. They've got nothing to worry. They're here to really showcase the talent, what they've got, isn't it? And how can they really help? How can that help them to go a long way?
I think you're right. The mentality has definitely changed. This Afghanistan team does not think of themselves as a team that can be easily beaten. They don't. They value each wicket. They value each run that they give away, and that's what's been working for them. Obviously, there was no expectation coming to the tournament, and no one assumed or expected Afghanistan to be the team of the tournament. But they have been, right. India, Pakistan, they've not looked 100%, or at least not as amazing, or I mean, have not won as convincingly as Afghanistan has won both the innings. I think, and the way they won, right? You don't see a set template. In the first innings, you saw their fast bowlers take the mantle. I mean, take the mantle of partnership breakers. They were the ones who went ahead, performed well. In fact, one could have even argued that Dubai pitch probably played against their advantage. At least from the start, we felt that Afghanistan might face some issues, but they did not. The fast bowlers came in. It almost seemed like there were players who've been playing for so long at the highest level, but they are new entrants. And I think Sandipani is spot on. The experience and skill that Umagul brings into this tournament. He's also been someone who's done well for the Pakistani team in white ball, especially. He's been a thorn in India's side for so long as I can remember. So I think that's probably the reason why you see this lineup, and the fact that they have this fearless brand of cricket. You're right. Any team should be afraid of Afghanistan because they don't have anything to lose. If Afghanistan, we'll all be disappointed if Afghanistan leaves the Super Four without winning a match, and I think that's not going to happen. I really think all three of the matches that they play, teams are going to have to earn those points, and that's what makes this Afghanistan team so potent.
Truly, I mean,
And I
I have
definitely feel that so far in the tournament, we have not seen any major upsets. I mean, Bangladesh were the weakest team in that group. According to the current form, even though they were
Yeah.
they were the runner-ups in the last two editions of the game, and they had been in three of the last four finals. But heading into this competition with the current form that they were in, I mean, Bangladesh were the weakest in that group, and I think Hong Kong were definitely the weakest in this group. So I think we have had the four best teams, the four favorites in the Super Fours, and I think India and Pakistan are the favorites, but I think the margin is very small. I mean, there is a bit of a margin between India, Pakistan, and then there is a
But
margin,
yeah, I mean,
and then I think Afghanistan and Sri Lanka are
I
pretty
mean,
close.
it's tough because it's T20. You can't really predict a winner, right? It's
Definitely,
tough to
definitely.
really.
correct. Yeah. And that's the beauty of T20, right? This Asia Cup has been so competitive. I mean, you're right. The fact that we expected these four teams to come, and most people had these four teams in the Super Fours. But how many of us expected Hong Kong to play that kind of innings, or Bangladesh to take this match against Sri Lanka so deep? So it's not like it's been a cakewalk for any team, and it's
Yeah.
definitely going to get even harder in the Super Four.
But I
Truly, I
think
mean, it's
if
going to be.
any game, like, I mean, if Sri Lanka or Afghanistan, if they would fancy to win any game in that Super Four, I think it is going to be tomorrow. I think both the teams will be looking to like get on that points table. The team that loses tomorrow, I think they are definitely they are not, they will not be in the prime running for the finals. Let's say that. I mean, they will be potentially knocked out because you don't
Sure.
see either Sri Lanka or Afghanistan going on to beat both India and Pakistan. I mean, they can win against either of the sides, but they have to be on their best, and they have to hope for a lot to win both their games, because India and Pakistan right now, with the squads that they have, I think they look a bit class apart. I mean, they have worked very hard to put themselves in that
Yeah.
position, I think, and I think they deserve to be compared, like to be considered the favorites. But I think Afghanistan is pretty close by, and Afghanistan and
True.
Sri Lanka, I think they are very close.
I mean, you never know. On their day, anything can happen. And if something
Yeah.
really goes for the batting attack, then what you're going to see is a team really dominate. That's the thing with T20 as well. You have very less time to recover and actually post a total. Once you're through to three down, you are absolutely out of the game unless someone comes and plays a blind draw for knock. That's why Afghanistan and Sri Lanka will be hopefully, fancying their chances as well. I'll take some questions right now. Able answer all of us, or I'm subscribing. I'm not sure what this is the question all about. Uh, I really do not know because a lot of people are asking me to answer. So I'm just awaiting what the question is. Maybe I missed the question, whatever it is. Uh, if Boomer hits 1,000, I should answer. Maybe, but I don't know what the question is all about. Uh, is it about me getting married? No, I am not married. Okay, I think this is a question. Is Abel single? Guys, I'm not going to answer any of this right now. And maybe if Boomer hits 1,000, I'll think about it. So subscribe to the channel right now if you want me to reveal.
I think
So
If
if
you
Boomer
have to
hits
put a
1,000, we're
price,
gonna
put
have
a higher
a.
price. I think you should have said if Boomer hits 10,000. I mean, 1,000 is pretty
yes, yes,
less.
yes, guys. If Boomer hits 10,000, I'll reveal it. So share it with your friends right now, so that Boomer hits 10,000, I reveal whether I'm single or not. That's the question. I finally got the question, what it was. So thank you guys for that. And I believe it's a motivation for you people to know. I don't know if that's definitely going to be motivation, but please don't
I mean,
unsubscribe.
we have been talking about cricket for the last 1.5 hours, and if this is what is keeping them going, I mean, so be it.
I swear, I don't want this to be the reason they're watching the Boom 11. But let's talk about the fantasy side of things. Sanjeev Bani, you'll be pretty interested about this side because it's something where we're going to see what is the predictive fantasy 11 and what is the team you should be keeping for tomorrow's contest. From batting perspective, Danushka Gunatilaka is what I picked uh, in my fantasy 11. Left field choice.
I
Uh,
wonder why.
and Najibullah Zadran, Charit Asalanka, Hazratullah Jazai, Rahmullah Gurbas is my wicketkeeper. Alongside my all-rounders, I have Hasaranga, Chamika Karunaratna, and Nabi. And my bowlers are Rashid Khan, Naveen Hulak, and Mahesh Tikshana. Sandeep, your thoughts on the Fantasy 11? I know you're
Yeah,
definitely
I
making
think
a
it's pretty
change
good.
up
I
top.
think if you're playing the smaller leagues, if you're playing head-to-head contests and teams where like only 5 or 10 teams are taking part, I think this is a pretty solid squad. But if I would be playing, I would just kick out Gunatilaka and put in Kushal Mendis in that
I
place.
was
Probably
waiting
an
for the
obvious.
but clause, like,
No, no, I
but
mean, I
I
mean, not
would.
kick out from the team. I mean, kick out from my playing team, like my fantasy team. I can do that, I guess. So I think I'll just put in Kushal Mendis in his place. And I'll be going with 2 wicket keepers, 3 batters, 3 all-rounders, and 3 bowlers. I think pretty much the same with whatever you have done. I think you have done a spectacular job. Otherwise, I think just Kushal Mendis or Rajapaksha in place of Gunatilaka. I think they are going to come back strong tomorrow. Or probably if Dinesh Chandimal plays, I'll be very interested to keep him in my if I'm playing in the grand league or the larger leagues where a lot of teams are participating. I think I'll definitely have somebody like a left field choice like a Dinesh Chandimal, because Chandimal is a good player of spin, and tomorrow you will need good players of spin. I think that is why I will keep Kushal Mendis as well. But I think tomorrow, if you are going to keep your captains and vice captains, I think a very safe pick would be a bowling all rounder or a batting all rounder who is a spinner. So I think Hasaranga or Rashid Khan will be your best picks for vice captain and captain when it comes to tomorrow's game. For the small league, that is. But if you are playing in the larger leagues, grand league, then I think you need to take certain risks, and I think you need to
Yeah.
go with left field choices. So you have to go with gut, and I definitely feel some of stats and some of gut feeling is
Hmm.
involved. So I definitely feel some of the players who are good players of spin. I think you should definitely go with players who are good players of spin and who are good spinners.
Shanwari, thank you. I don't know what is this answer all going to be about. And thank you. You are here for cricket, so that's what makes me happy more than anything else. So we'll like to keep talking about cricket whole day. Now
I
coming
mean,
back to
everybody is
fantasy.
here for cricket. It's just a banter that they keep going, that keeps them going. I think it's very good
I think
and
it keeps us
very
going as
healthy to have
well.
it. Yeah,
Me and Sadibani definitely enjoy the comments a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know
Guys,
Abel does it too. Uh,
I don't know if I do, but then it's kind of I don't know. I'm a little taken aback at times, with the kind of love they're showing. So that it means a lot for us because you people across the world who are joining us, at this time of the night, and it really helps us to talk about it. Really motivates us. After a long day after university, we are here to talk about cricket and to get that extra bit of kick towards the later night and to kind of love we are getting at this time of the day. It's just brilliant. Who will you captain in this particular team? I would rather go with someone like a Rashid Khan is my captain because I totally think he's going to definitely give Sri Lankan batters a run for the money, and he's got it in him as a world class spinner. What he is, he's possibly going to be the bowler to really watch out for tomorrow. Sanjay, your thoughts? Who's going to be the captain for tomorrow's
Yeah, I
contest?
think I just said it. I mean, in the smaller leagues, you definitely need somebody, a leg spinner, or I mean, a spinner, a spinning all rounder. That is, I think Rashid Khan and Wanindu Hasaranga will be the captain contenders for a lot of teams playing the smaller leagues. And even in the larger leagues, you can go for it, but that will be a very sort of common choice. I think 4 out of every 10 team will have Rashid Khan as their captain or Wanindu Hasaranga as their captain. So if you have to stand out of the entire field, you have to go for some left field choices. And I think if Dinesh Chandimal plays tomorrow, I think he's going to be a left field choice. Even somebody like Charit Asalanka, who haven't had the best of tournament so far, I think you can definitely go for him. And Mohammad Nabi, I think definitely Mohammad Nabi, he did not have a very good outing with the bat. In the last game, he bowled 3 overs, did not pick up any wickets. So fantasy wise, I think he can do way more better in tomorrow's game, especially because they'll get some assistance for the spinners. So go with spinners, go with players who are good players of spin, batters who are good players of spin. I think tomorrow it's going to be all about them.
True. I mean, you have to say that at this very point.
Yeah, I
To
think
go.
if I may, I mean, Abel, I think for me, I think a better pick for me at least would be Mujibur Rahman. And the reason I say that is because I feel Rashid Khan, people are playing him out, and because of that, I think the pressure transferred to Mujibur Rahman. It's a big risk, right? He might go for a lot of runs because batsmen are going to try and cash in on him. But on his day, or as his form has been showing, the fact that people are trying to play Rashid Khan out means that wickets are falling for Mujibur Rahman. So maybe that's
That
a
is why
much
I really
riskier choice.
loved what Bangladesh did. I mean, they just took the attack on Rashid Khan. They did not let him settle in that death overs, because I think the biggest concern for Sri Lanka tomorrow is going to be who is going to bowl that death over. I mean, Chamika Karunaratne is the looks like their lead pacer for that death bowling option, because they tried out
He's
Dilshan
not done a
Madhushanka
bad
early on.
job as well, but I really want him to, improve slightly. Missing Chamira is a huge loss for them, and they did not also have Lahiru Kumara in this particular,
Lahiru Kumara,
um,
yeah.
Definitely.
in
They
this
are
particular lineup.
definitely lacking a lot of experience in that pace department. Dilshan Madhushanka and Asita Fernando will have to do a fabulous job bowling in the death overs tomorrow.
True.
Or I
Um,
definitely feel that they are going to hold Vanindu Hasaranga back till the end. I think like last game itself, they are going to keep at least 3 overs of Hasaranga for the last 10. And I think Chamika Karunaratne as well will bowl two of the last four probably. And then they'll have to somewhere chip in with somebody like a Ashita Fernando or a Dilshan Madhushanka, one over here, one over there. And I think that is where it will be very important for Afghanistan to keep their wickets in hand. I think if they can get a platform from where they can launch, I think if they don't lose too many wickets early on to Mahish Thikshana and Vanindu Hasaranga, I think we can pretty much say that Afghanistan is going to put up a huge score tomorrow.
I mean, truly, I mean, that's what Afghanistan will be really hoping as well. Uh, Sanjivani, what do you think? Your smile is cute. I think
I
Yeah,
might
I
think
be a bit
think
Abel, you can
worried.
answer the second half of the question.
I mean, let's not
yeah,
focus on the first
it's
half.
typical Abel, just ignoring whatever he wants to ignore. But yeah, I mean, thanks again, Priyanka. I mean, you were very sweet to me yesterday. You are very sweet to me today also.
Yes, very
So yeah.
sweet. Sanjeevan is such a sweet guy, guys. Follow him on Instagram right now. Hit on him. He's very open. He's a
Yeah,
very
I
good
think
opener.
we can always end the live with my promotion, like we did it yesterday as well. I would be very happy if we
Yes.
do it today as well.
If you want to see
And
if you want to see more cute smiles, hit on Sanjeevani. He's a guy for
yeah,
you.
and
I would
also
rather
some
say
cricket content. Yeah,
keep subscribing. I mean, if you want to see Sandipani smile more often.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Keep subscribing and share it with your friends as well,
I'll have the
because this
biggest
is where the
smile
good.
when sort of Boomer reaches 10,000. I think 10,000 is a good
Yeah, I
enough
Yeah,
goal
think
to have
when we
for the World
have
Cup.
now, I'll be revealing. Sandeepani will be smiling. So I'm just gonna keep it right there. Sandeepani's
Yeah.
smile is the catch thing for you. So if Sandeepani's smile is catchy, subscribe to the channel right now. If you want me to reveal right now, if you want Jaren to be more funkier, Jaren is gonna wear some hood stuff and come tomorrow. So get ready for the Jaren
yeah,
transformation.
I don't know, Abel, if you calling it hood stuff is politically correct. We might get banned in some countries.
Um,
But I think tomorrow, I think it's going to be a cracker of a game. Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka, it's pretty balanced. And I think tomorrow, a lot more people will be joining us for the live, because we'll be previewing the India versus Pakistan game that is going to take place on Sunday. So it's
major
going to be
game.
a huge
Yeah.
day tomorrow.
Excited
Super
already.
Sunday.
Yeah. Super
It
Sunday.
looks like a super for Sunday, like last time around. Maybe hopefully next Sunday is also super Sunday, because that's how the tournament has been panned out. They wanted all three Sundays to be India Pakistan, so I won't be surprised. I
I
want
was just
all.
worried that Hong Kong will win tonight. If Hong Kong would have won tonight, I think there would have been a huge drop in ticket sales for the game on Sunday. And
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
in general,
I
yeah.
think BCCI, PCB, ACC would all be suffering revenue losses. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
truly. Truly, yet again, because this time around there's a lot more to play because super force, and if you lose one, you're definitely going to be under pressure as well because you have to win the next two then to go
I
ahead.
definitely
And
think you have to win two games at least with a good net run rate. So you can't have one of those huge defeats like Sri Lanka had in the group
Yeah.
stage against Afghanistan. And I definitely feel you at least need to win two of the three to qualify.
yeah,
So
I
It
know
would
this
be
we
is
have a
interesting to see if,
exciting weekend awaiting you.
it would be interesting to see if India or Pakistan lose a game, then all of a sudden the Super Four becomes very exciting. Then NRR will come into play very much. It's going to be exciting then.
Yeah, true. But let me tell you something, right? Especially when it comes to these kind of games, one team if they lose from here from there on, stuff to build on momentum because of the fact that you are going to be demoralized. Then the pressure is going to be on you. Then you lose one, and if you are also hoping the other teams also mess it up, for sure you want
Yeah.
to win the next two and you're going to make it equal. But net run rate, so even
I think
especially
then
coming to you,
tomorrow's game will play a huge role because after India versus Pakistan, I think India plays Sri Lanka and Pakistan will play Afghanistan. So whoever wins tomorrow will have that mental advantage going into the game. And if either of the team that they are facing also manages to lose day after tomorrow, I think it is going to be a huge boost for the teams, either Afghanistan or Sri Lanka facing India and
Yeah, I
Pakistan.
think, and adding to that, I think whoever loses on Sunday will be then chasing the game, right? Because then, if suppose
Yeah.
whichever team wins, then they have that added advantage of the extra 2 points. Then the next two matches you can be a lot more comfortable, either if you're India or Pakistan. But if you lose, then you end up, having to, then struggle against something like not struggle, but your pressure's on you, right, to win those games. Then but you can
yeah,
breathe easy if you win against the rivals.
truly, I mean, it really
But I
puts
mean, we
a
are very excited with whatever we have had in the group stages. We haven't had too
Yeah,
many single-sided or like one-sided games. I think the game against both the games that Afghanistan played, I think they chased it down
yeah,
pretty
I think,
comfortably.
and I would be
Yeah,
very
but the
excited to
other
see
two games
all
have been
three
very exciting.
Afghanistan games.
Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh and India versus Pakistan have been nail biter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if India wins,
Yeah,
it is going
Afghanistan
to be.
match.
Guys, I'm not gonna sing. Let me make it very clear right now. I will sing if you hit,
I
if
think,
we hit 50,000 subscribers. I'm making it
yeah.
right very clear. 50,000
We're
is for
gonna
singing.
release a list of goals. Depending on each goal
Yes,
we achieve, Abel's gonna perform a
yes,
task.
yes. If we hit
It's
50,000,
gonna be
I'm gonna
available
sing.
on Boomer Level, I
checklist,
suppose.
checklist. I think you can
If we
after
hit
the
1 million,
live
I'm
ends,
gonna
you can
dance.
write down a comment on what you want able to do. I mean, a checklist.
Yes,
And
Yeah,
and
and
we
why,
will.
why
Me and
me?
Satyavani will
There
be
is
generating a
Sandipani, there
list.
is
yeah,
Jaren,
yeah, yeah.
there are a lot of people. Get on and ask them to do some tasks. Why me? Why am I the attraction for all these things? Because Sandipani is a very good singer. Sandipani can sing as well. I think you people should ask Sandipani to sing. Sandipani and Jaren, I think they both are very excellent singers. Jaren is a very good dancer as well. So I think you both, if India wins, they both are dancing and singing. Sandipani will sing and Jaren is going to dance. That's what's going to happen. And if we hit 1 million, I'm going to dance. 1 million, 1 million.
Yeah, I
Just making
think
it very
I really think the requests have been pertaining to you, Abel, and we wouldn't
clear.
want. Yeah, see, there we go,
And also, I,
another
I
one.
think
I
once
think
I
we
gave him
would.
the idea of sort of hiking his price, he has hiked it to a different level altogether. I mean, from 10,000, it went to 1 million straight.
Arey, the thing is that I want something. It's not easy to sit there and dance and to sing, right? You want some kind of value added to that. That's the
Yeah, so
reason.
it's guaranteed Abel's gonna sing and dance once you guys hit a million.
Yeah, million guys. I know we're just how many? I think we are 900. How many? I don't know. I'm very bad at maths. We are a long way to go. I think we are almost 900,000, subscribers more to go for that 1 million. So I know we're not so far away, but then of course,
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised, given the offer, if we might hit it very soon.
We are 999,000, I guess. Yeah, just 1,000. Yeah, 999,000 and one hundred and
guys,
forty subscribers to go for that 1 million.
not bad, not bad. I'll take that.
Not bad.
I'll still take that for the 1 million. I'll do anything if you hit 1 million. So focus on 1 million. I know it's baby steps for us, but then if we hit 1 million, I'm singing and dancing. That's for sure. But then
Yeah,
we
but
are here for
one thing that
cricket.
we can guarantee is we'll be coming for these lives. We'll be doing our best. So just stay tuned if you love cricket. Stay tuned if you love sports in general, because not just cricket. We bring in football. We bring in a lot of different sports. There was the Commonwealth Games. There are chess. Whatever you want us to cover in the field of sports, we are going to do it. over the next couple of months, years, like how much ever time it takes. I mean, we are going to be there, and what we need is your support, the love that you have been showing to us over the comments in the last 5-6 videos. I think we have worked quite a bit since the IPL, and we have been working for quite almost 1 year. Right now we have been having these lives for almost 6 months, and I think it's very good that you have been encouraging us, motivating us. I have already said it yesterday as well. I'm very grateful. We are very grateful as a team that you have been tuning in for 1 hour 30 minutes, listening to us, sharing your different aspects about the game, whatever you want to know, whatever you want us to let you know. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
all good, all uphill, and I expect that it is just going to get better. I mean, we are going to come in, we are
Mm.
going to put this effort, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
absolutely,
very
Sandipani. The
good
fact that
actually.
we having so much love on this channel makes us, even more excited after every match to come here, speak about cricket, interact with you guys. It's just fun.
I mean, yeah, Saloni, I'm just gonna wear whatever is in my hand. I'm not gonna wear anything special, but thank you, Rashid, for that. It means a lot for us. I mean, we are taken aback by a little surprised the number of support we're getting from a particular gender, and if we are, making them watch the sport, there's nothing like that. So, I mean, that's one of the
Yeah,
goals as well, to make everybody watch cricket, reach out to people like what we had yesterday, Nathan. And that was one of the best heartwarming things which I've ever heard for
correct.
a long, long time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I never expected, because a day before that he came and told he doesn't know anything about cricket, and hearing us, he went on to
Correct.
book tickets and went on to watch a match. So I was taken aback by shock. So if we can encourage people to do that, that'll be great. Before we end the live, gonna bring some surprise for you, and this is your opportunity. Make your team right now on Boom 11. So get onto the app right now. The link is in the bio, and also make 5 teams, 5 different matches, and stand a chance to be a raffle draw system where you'll get a chance to win 2 gram worth gold coin. The 5 lucky winners will be announced very soon as well. So this is your opportunity. Make your team right now. It's absolutely free of cost, zero financial risk as well. And so make it, go for it. Boom 11 is one platform where you'll have zero financial risk, absolutely time for you to go there. And unlike many other apps, where you're going to be sad at the end of the day, in Boom 11 you're like only going to be a victor. And as I can assure you, like, as from my experience at least, and we all play fantasy on daily basis. So this is the opportunity, guys. Get onto the app right now. The link is in the bio, and be a lucky winner. And fantasy is all about testing your skill as well. So if you are testing your skill, you can also have the bragging rights. Come challenge us. Sandeep Bani is the king of fantasy, as he would like to proclaim himself to be. I don't agree to that. Harake the cow. That's what Sandeepani says. And you can expect a special tip. And also follow us on Instagram. That's where we bring
And
the
I think
fantasy
once the
prediction before
Asia
every
Cup
game.
is done, we can if you guys are interested, we can definitely bring you updates on the 100. I mean, both the
Yeah.
men's and the women's
Yeah,
competition
I
that has
mean,
been going on. I think there have been pretty exciting cricket going on over there, and also
yeah.
there has been the Caribbean Premier League. So whatever you want us to cover, we'll cover it. Like,
I mean,
just
comment
name
down,
it and
right?
we'll be there.
Right, comment down. What are your tasks? What you're giving to Sandeepani? You wanted him to dance and sing as well. So do it right now. Comment
No,
down.
no,
I
no,
really
no.
want to
I
see
I
the
mean
comment.
in the cricket field, whatever you want me to do in the cricket field, we are going to do it.
Yeah, Sandeepani will dance and also show some of his cricket shots. A special video of Sandeepani coming on our YouTube channel, guys. So subscribe to our channel right now. I told you, if you want me to sing, you have to hit 1 million for that. And thank you, Monk, for that. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for giving us this opportunity, actually, Monk. And I would like to disagree with the latter half, but then definitely in the first half, at least we're doing a decent job. But thank you all. Good night, and have a very good weekend. This weekend is all about excitement. India Pakistan is just a day away. We're already into Saturday, so tomorrow we're gonna be having India taking on Pakistan in Dubai. So stay tuned for that. The ones who are going and watching, all the best to you guys, and have a good time. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.
Yeah. Good night, guys.